Ready.
All right, let's James Scott Campbell.
Hello, you are at the net, and welcome, friends, to another episode of the At the Net podcast, powered by Tex-Mex Productions. Working the soundboards in the back of the house are our producers, D-Mac and Dave the Brain. Time to say hello to your hosts, Craig Bell and AJ Shabria, as they're about to take us through 3 sets of tennis, talking life and all the news as it seems to them. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Bell.
All right, thanks go out to our At the Net podcast girl. That would be Margot Carter for that. You don't even know he doesn't know the word of the night.
The word of the night. What is it, CV?
Good bull.
Good bull.
Or boomer. We've got a house divided over there with these two guys.
Yes.
So that good bull. Have you ever heard of good bull?
That's a Aggie thing?
There you go.
Yes.
Look at that right there.
That's a Texas A&M thing
There
in
we
honor of Austin Krajicek, our esteemed guest.
Yeah.
And the other one, of
It's
course,
Boomer.
We
right
all
there.
know that from Oklahoma University.
That's right.
Where Philip Farmer played.
Yeah.
What a good couple of guests we
So it's a
have.
good bull and a boomer
Bull and
introduction.
Boomer.
And welcome, fans of the great game. You're listening to Season 1, Episode 107 of At the Net Podcast with AJ Chabry. That's you, right? AJC?
And Craig Bell. That's you.
That's me, CB1. We were talking the great game of tennis as it seems to us. Thanks also go out to our good amigos at Tex-Mex Productions. That would be one Darian D. McBrayer and Dave the Brain. We did have a brain sighting, didn't we, tonight?
We did. We FaceTimed with the man all the way back east.
Yeah, we had to move. He had to help us do a little bit of back of the house work, and appreciate him. He's helping us be on the soundboards tonight, making us look like real people.
And sound like real people, which our guests are, too, is going to be good.
We're not holograms, you know. I'm in the metaverse. You know, how's that? Can I be in the metaverse? I want to go in the metaverse, you know, whatever that means. I don't know.
This is Craig's avatar right here.
That's right. I'm going to be in the metaverse.
The Matrix?
Yeah, that's it.
Matrix.
Yeah, all right. We're going to be in the metaverse. I think that's the new woke.
I'm telling you, you're going to hear, there's a glitch in the metaverse.
Right.
You're
Somebody's doing a concert in the metaverse the other day. We'll get to that later. But anyway, also be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Plus, check out our good work on Fireside, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, CastBox, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Spotify. I did it all in one breath. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well done, buddy.
There we go. Basically, that's all the important communication sites that kids find popular today. Maybe there's one in the metaverse. Maybe we should be At the Net Podcast in the metaverse, right? Wouldn't that be fun?
Digital real estate.
There we go. And if you're female, sorry, guys. These guys, they don't have a chance either to read the opening intro like the great Margot Carter, right? Or the good bull Margot Carter, or the boomer. Margot Carter. Let us know, ladies. We'd love to have you read the intro and talk about At the Net Podcast, right?
Send us a demo tape and
Yep.
Tell us about tonight, CB.
Yeah. So speaking of good bull, or boomer, our guest, there we are. There they are. It's one Coach Philly Farmer, who's like this is about his 27th time, I think, on the podcast.
He's a regular.
He's a regular. Yeah. Anytime that we need somebody, we always give him a call, and he's willing to go on anytime at a moment's notice.
He is. He's flexible. He's such an accomplished tour coach, having coached at the highest levels, people like Karina Marayu, Sam Querrey, Bob and Mike Bryan, and Hans Hotch, who we love, and Austin Krajicek, the man in the black right there.
Good night. Good evening. Not good night, everybody. I was going to say good evening, everybody. I don't know what the heck I'm thinking. I'm already, I don't know what happened. I need to get my Topo Chico, so there we go.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. How you doing? You doing okay?
Doing great, man. Thank you guys for having us on. It's just got back from Australia. We're kind of over jet lagged by now. We watched some great NFL football, and really excited to be on. I've been on with one of my awesome doubles players who's finally top 100 after a 4-year kind of stint of the search for top 100 in doubles. Hans Hotch Verdugo, who's now in Pune, India. We just FaceTimed Austin. I FaceTimed him. Him and Austin are good buddies, good training partners, and he's doing great, getting ready for his first round there. And I'm excited to now have on my other player, my other doubles guy, Austin Krajicek, who I'm extremely proud of, and had a great summer and fall in 2021, and we're excited about the new year and accomplishing some big goals. So thank you guys so much.
Just out of curiosity, what were you doing out in Australia? Is there something going on down there?
Well, Well, we were just checking on the all the restrictions and protocols.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We just want to see what it was really like, if we needed masks and that stuff. And what we realized is you got to check in everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Always checking in.
That's I caught you. You didn't know I was going to do that.
I had no idea. I was like, I was ready to ask him about playing mixed with Jesse Pagula, playing men's dubs with the Greeks.
No.
I just want to know what they're doing down there. I mean,
secondary hobby.
They were in the neighborhood, I guess, just down there. You're just kind of in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Just thought, hey, we'll check out. Maybe go to the MCG and watch a cricket match. Or maybe it's not Aussie rules football, so it'd be cricket right now.
The season, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, the difference is we Austin and I came to train at and use a couple of the Bent Tree indoor courts, and Craig said, "Hey, you got the right sole shoes?" And we said, "Yeah." "You got the right grips on the rackets?" "Yes, sir, we do. We're all good." The difference in Australia, they say, "Hey, you got the vaccine card, you got the mask, you got the sanitizer, you got."
My God.
That's kind of what we're dealing with, guys. It's still a different ballgame there.
It's a different ballgame. I remember when they used to be really sticklers about sunscreen and hats, and now it's a whole new level, right?
Were the
Totally
people,
different.
Were the people,
Totally different world that we're living in.
Were they wearing masks down there? Just out of curiosity, was everybody wearing masks for the most part?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, they were just, a bit strict with you have to check in at all the restaurants you go to, and any other building you walk into, you have to check in with a QR code on your phone. And so they're, very, very strict with that kind of stuff, and obviously the vaccines and everything. But yeah, I mean, you get the vibe from some of the people there a little bit fed up with it as well. But it's it is what it is.
Huh. Speaking,
and I think they're hopefully getting.
Speaking of the vibe down there, what's it like? First of all, how long does it take you to get over jet lag when you have a flight that's 20-something hours?
Yeah, it's not easy. Obviously we've been in the tennis world for a long time, so you kind of get, some tricks that we do when we get on the plane and trying to adjust yourself to the time before you leave. So, I, to be honest, don't struggle with it too much, but it usually takes a couple of days to get used to it, and it's always a lot easier going there, to be honest, than it is coming home. So when we go there, you leave at night here, so you leave usually from LA or the West Coast on an evening flight, which makes it easier to obviously sleep quite a bit on the plane, and then you kind of knock out 8 hours or so on the plane, and then you're there relatively quick, and you just stay up throughout the day, and you're pretty good to go. When you get back, unfortunately, you leave at about noonish, midday Australia time, which makes it obviously harder to sleep on the plane. Yeah. And then you arrive early morning West Coast time, which means you got to stay awake all day, which is it's extremely tough. But yeah, we knock it out pretty good. We had about 2 or 3 days where we were struggling a bit, but I think we only took one or 2 days and got back to work here before the Dallas Open. So
that was actually my next question was, when you got back here on Sunday night / Monday morning, you probably started hitting on Wednesday or Thursday to prep for the next tournament?
Tuesday, didn't we?
We did. What's cool about Austin and I's relationship is we actually have a blast working together, and we have a blast kind of preparing and gearing up for the next goal. And so when we land in Australia, we're ready to practice. And that's a great bond between the two of us, but it's also kind of a unique personal goals between us two. We just love to work. We love to get on the court. We love to watch film. We love to just kind of talk about what's next and what we need to do. And so when we land, yeah, we're tired. We need some rest. And it's important to take that, that time and those days off. But we both love to work. We're workaholics. We love to be on the court. I love to coach. I love to strategize, and he loves to practice and work and listen and say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's the goals for the next few days. So it's a really good chemistry, and we just get excited about kind of what's next. So we're ready to get going pretty quick.
Tremendous.
Just out of curiosity, did you all fly from Dallas straight to Sydney? Because I know there's a flight, or did you have to go from LA or San Francisco?
Used to be a flight. COVID actually, they paused that one for the time.
Really?
Games. So there used to be an American flight Dallas to, I think it was Dallas, Melbourne, and United had a flight Houston to Sydney. But we actually had to go Dallas, LA on the way down, Dallas, LA, Sydney, Adelaide, and then on the way back we went Melbourne, Sydney, San Fran, Dallas. So it's a bit tougher nowadays, obviously with COVID, but it wasn't too bad. We slept quite a bit and we're ready to go. Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Craig didn't send the G7 down there. Tylee didn't send that for you.
No, he didn't.
No. We're hoping for that next year.
Oh, okay.
Next year.
Right. Next year. All right. We'll put that on the list. We'll say, hey, Craig, come on. You got to take care of Austin and Philly.
That's right, for sure. Well,
but I mean, for people listening, a lot of times, I think what this podcast is about is getting to share some great insight and stories. And some of that insight is what they may not realize, that kind of what we go through on the tour. And I know Craig and maybe you, AJ, as well. Like you guys have been to Australia before, and you've kind of been to the tournaments. And a couple of years ago, before pre-COVID, where you could take the direct flight, and that's not just us in Australia, but all we're traveling 30-something weeks on the tour, but pre-COVID, we were able to take a direct flight, and you go Dallas to Sydney or Dallas to Melbourne direct. That's a big difference. And with COVID now, they've there's not as many pilots, there's not as many crew, not as many flights. They've had to cut down and rearrange a lot of different things. So now really everything has to go through Sydney, for example. So Dallas, Melbourne canceled. So if you need to get to Adelaide or you need to get to Melbourne, you can't just get there directly. And so that affects a lot. And I'm just giving our perspective coming from Dallas, but imagine, Zverev or Nadal or, Cameron Norrie, whoever it is coming from Europe or South America or wherever, they're going through similar things as well. So the travel, a lot of people think, okay, with COVID, these guys, it's coaches and players, it's tough now because you got to get tested and vaccine and this and that. And wear masks, and it's a little bit tougher. Maybe you got to quarantine, but that's not just it. It's the travel. A lot of the flights are canceled. Our flight got canceled on the way there. So we got stuck in LA one night. We had to find practice the next day because we basically had 12 hours to kind of figure out what we were going to do. And plus just the different time and travel. So I kind of wanted to give that insight a little bit because it does make a big difference in what we're having to deal with right now. And hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not making excuses or anything. It's just what everybody, not just Austin and I or Hans or whoever, but it's just what we're all dealing with.
When you did have to scramble and find some practice time in Los Angeles, how did you do it? Of course, you both know people in every city in the world, but take us through how you have to improvise and nail down a couple hours of practice.
It's who you know, baby. It's connections.
Yeah, luckily. I mean, we lived in LA. My wife now and I lived in LA for about 3 years, not too long ago. So we've got a lot of friends, and we were able to make a couple phone calls and practice. Obviously, Carson is out on the West Coast, the UTA Center. We actually practice in Manhattan Beach. Rick Bukta is one of our close friends, and he's one of the good friends of a lot of the American tennis players. So he's helped us out a lot, and we were able to set a practice up there and have a good lunch and afternoon in Manhattan Beach and get on the plane the next day. So to be honest, we weren't roughing it too much, but like Phil said, it's a little bit who you know, and luckily the tennis world is pretty small, so we've made some great connections over the years, and the tennis people are fantastic, so it was worked out pretty well. For sure.
Wonderful.
Did you know people? I don't know anybody.
You know everybody, buddy. I'm not worried about this guy.
Really? I can call people up. Okay.
Hey, we've had Philly on the show several times, but we wanted to get a little idea of Austin's background. Maybe you can talk, Austin and Philip, a little bit about junior tennis, Texas A&M tennis, and then your transition into the Pro Tour. Give us a little insight on how you did all this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story, for anybody in the tennis. But I grew up in Tampa, in Florida, in Brandon, actually, and then worked some at Palmer Academy back in the day with Richard Maniszewski, and when I was in Tampa, actually, and they moved to Greenleaf. So I kind of was a nomad there with them a little bit, and then I worked with the private coach, Omar Lemina, for about 5 years until I was about 14 or so, and then was offered a scholarship down to IMG academies, so Bolletari's academies, which is obviously pretty famous. And so I was able to go down there, fortunate enough to mix in with that crew. I lived with Kate Nishikori and Devin Britton, Jesse Levine, Brad Cox, a bunch of phenomenal players, Philip Kronovich. And it was great. I mean, we were pushing each other every day, playing matches every day. It was all tennis all the time, which was cool. I think it takes a specific kid to get through that, but luckily it worked out for me. I was doing homeschool at the time, and so was playing there full time, playing ITF tournaments as well at that point in time, and had some success there. And then was offered a scholarship at Texas A&M. Went to school at A&M. It was kind of between the University of Florida and A&M. Actually, I've always been a huge Gators fan. Actually, since I was 5, my bedroom was decked out in Gators gear, so I was always a massive Gators fan through '96 when they won the national championship and Steve Spurrier and all that. So, that was kind of my team. And then Coach Denton, who's still there now, and Bob McKinley recruited me there and convinced me to take a trip last minute, a recruiting trip. And I just love the team atmosphere, the family feeling they had there. And some of the traditions at the school were phenomenal. So I decided to go there, and that was obviously a huge culture shock from Tampa to College Station, but I absolutely loved it and sort of became an adopted Texan from then, and then had a fantastic 4 years at A&M with some success sprinkled in there. And then we were in and out, went back to Florida a bit, out in LA for about 3 years, and then was back to Texas about 5 years ago, and then found my way up to Dallas about a year ago here. So.
Well, we're certainly happy.
That was a long story.
I love it.
2 minutes, but
certainly happy you are here. And I want to hear about, you had some success in Cincinnati. You've been to the semis of the U.S. Open in mixed. You've been to the quarters of the U.S. Open in men's. Is that right?
Yep.
How did it sounds like it was through our mutual friend Hans Hock that you met Philip. Tell us about how that bond formed and when and how that happened.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was a funny story. Hans has been one of my good buddies for many years. Great player. I have a ton of respect for Hans. We've been buddies on and off the court for a long time. But then, I ended up in Dallas. So when we were in LA for about 3 years, my wife now and I moved back to College Station and actually bought a house there. Everything was great. And then, unfortunately, during COVID, my wife had lost her job there. And so we were kind of floating for a bit. We weren't playing any tennis either for about 8 months. So we were just kind of both there. And to be honest, everything was great there. We loved College Station. And about 8 months into that, she got a job opportunity up here in Plano. So we decided to move up this way. And so we were up here kind of adjusting to the area and everything. Obviously, I've known John Isner for a long time as well. He was in Tampa for a very long time as well. So knew him and knew Hans and Nate Lamons and some of the other guys in town. So we were just kind of practicing around, and Hans was like, I think I had some tough tournaments in that stretch, and Hans was like, hey man, you got to meet this guy, Phil. Like, he's super positive. He's a great coach. He's been a huge help to me on and off the court. So he kind of introduced us by that. He's like, and I think him and Phil had talked a little bit, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we had a couple practices together and kind of clicked right away. Our personalities matched. And, Phil has obviously tremendous insight in the game and just a great experience with, the tremendous players in singles, doubles at the top of the game, winning Grand Slams and stuff. So a ton of stuff I could learn on and off the court. And I thought we kind of clicked right away. And, through Hans, luckily he set it up, and I think we all make a great friendship. And I think Hans is still super close to it. We're all working together and close, so it's kind of like a cool little team we got going. So we're hoping to keep that going here on the Dallas squad. And it's been a pretty cool little story. So,
and if I can,
Phil's side,
if I can add to that, as you guys know, we've talked about this. Tennis, it's a very competitive sport. When you're doing it for your living, if you're a director like Craig and you, AJ, at your club, in the day, your memberships and programming and things like that. If you're a junior program, you're trying to be the best with your kids and all that. If you're a pro like, Hans and Austin, you're trying to be the best at what you do. And in that, and even as a coach, you're trying to be the best with your player. You can become, it's an individual sport. So you can become selfish in that. And so I have a ton of respect for Hans and Austin does as well, because, Hans and I have been trying to get top 100 for the last 4 years. I haven't traveled just due to where I was and my kind of career and things, and just his situation and his ranking, finances and things like that. And he was working his way up. And here's a guy that goes, hey, I've been practicing with Austin. He's 40, whatever in the world at that time. And if anybody can get him, dude, this guy's top 10. And what I want you guys to know is, as a competitor that feels he's in that same category and level, to say that about another player is unbelievably unselfish in a very selfish individual sport. And so for Hans to do that, which he didn't know about that at the time, but for him to say that and to basically kind of share his coach, which is me, man, I will respect that guy for the rest of my life. Because not only do I agree with Hans that he is a top 10 player and I feel like he can win a slam, but just the act of being unselfish and wanting to share and wanting to say, hey, your career is important too, Philip. Here's a guy. I think we can all be a team. And I think I can be top 50. I think, whatever that ends up being, top 20, and then Austin can be top 20, top 10 and win a slam. The words he had for this guy to my left here was so remarkable and unselfish that it got, because I had not really been traveling, it made me want to get back on tour. And as you guys know from our last podcast, I've been getting into some multifamily. I was still doing some speaking and, podcasts with you guys and all that, but I wasn't like dialed into getting back full time on the road. So I think it's a really important lesson for everybody out there in such an individual sport that we think it is. It's really team. I mean, you guys were at different clubs. Now you're together. I've known you guys for 20 something years. Now we're doing a podcast for the fourth time together. And for Hans to do that, for Austin, for me, and now we're all a team reaping the rewards. Hans is top 100 for the first time in 4 years. Austin, which we'll get into, semis of the Olympics, semis of the mixed doubles US Open, finals of Cincinnati, big things ahead for both these guys. I respect both of these guys so much, I can't even express it to you on this podcast. It's unbelievable. As professionals, but they're both unbelievable men, and I respect that big time. I think it's important.
Philip, you are too. Yeah. So the apples are not falling far from the tree. Well done there.
Speaking of competition, Austin, has Phil tried to beat you in drop hit 21 yet? I know he's really competitive. I see him out here sometimes. He was on the court, waylaying and some kids out here. He's so competitive. I was like, Phil, you got to stop it. Don't.
Phil beats you up in pickleball then.
Who's the best?
I gave up my baseline. I gave up my drop hit baseline games back in 2005 when I lost my 19th straight baseline game to Bob Bryan.
Bob Bryan is that good.
Yeah.
I literally never won one game. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'll just be a coach.
That's great.
See, I thought he might try to get out there and try to slam a few and go, hey, I still got it. Come on, bring it, Austin. Bring the heat.
And then as you guys know, we talked about this on I think the last podcast. The game is so incredibly fast now, and I'm so impressed with these guys, with their level and with their skill set. And I try to equip these guys. If you envision a carpenter with a tool belt, I want them to have every tool, and it may not be their favorite tool, but I want them to try to be mindful that they have every tool in the belt and they can pull it out and use it if and when they need to. Some tools they might love the hammer, but maybe they're not as good as the wrench or whatever, things like that. But I want them to be comfortable with using that. And it's been really cool to see them develop the tools in their belt. And that's kind of my job is to make them more well-rounded and comfortable under pressure and great things ahead for them for sure.
For sure. Austin, this is one of those questions you may have to go metaphorical a little bit, but tell us about the tools that you are already really good at, and tell us about some of the tools that you've improved recently.
Yeah, I mean, tennis is such a tough sport. I think it's so mental as well, especially switching over to the doubles game. I played singles when I finished college in 2011, I played singles for about 7, 8 years. It had some success, was top 100 a couple of times, and then switching over to doubles in 2019, it's just a little bit of a change. In practice, in the specifics you do throughout training and stuff, it's just a little bit different the way you approach the game. But I think I've always been equipped, some with some just double specifics. I think my volleys have always been an advantage of mine. I think coming forward, an aggressive game mindset has been an advantage that I've had, that I've always had some success in doubles in college as well as juniors. But just the consistency week in, week out, the mental side of believing you belong there. And there's just certain things I don't think, there's actually been a point in my career where I thought maybe you could kind of not buy that, but you could get that from somebody, the experience of saying, trust us, you got this. But the more I play and the more I experience things, the more you kind of have to go through those experiences yourself. And I think those, those struggles are just something you have to go through personally, and you have to fail. And one of the tough things about tennis that I say quite a bit is, unlike some sports, tennis, unless you're Novak Djokovic or Nadal or Federer the last couple of decades, if you have a fantastic year, you're having 2 weeks where you don't lose a match, but every other week, the rest of the year, you're losing every single week. So you have to lose as a player, you lose so much in tennis, and that's not necessarily the same. And even in tennis in college, like, you gear up for a match on Friday and Sunday, maybe, or one match or 2 matches a week, and you gear up a week and then you play one match and you kind of, you play good and it's great, you're excited, and then you move on to the next one and you kind of gear up for the next match. Whereas in the pro level, I mean, you gear up, you beat the number one team in the world, and you got to go to bed and wake up the next day and beat the next team that's trying to take you out. And it's day after day after day. And then you win Wimbledon, and then which I haven't experienced yet, but some of the teams win Wimbledon, and the next week someone's trying to beat you down in Newport, and it's never ending week after week after week, and you got to get up, and that's what's so commendable about these guys. Like, obviously Nadal today with that match is just incredible, but guys like Novak and Roger that can just do it week in and week out over the years, it's just absolutely incredible, and deserves a ton of respect. I mean, obviously in the doubles game, I think there's no better example than Mike and Bob Bryan, who Phil's had personal experience with very closely. Those guys, just every tournament they play, they expect to win, and they put themselves in the tough position. And it doesn't always go your way, but they put themselves there where they've got a chance every single match, and I think that's really all the stuff that you can control. So I think I think the mental side at the top. I mean, everyone can hit forehands and backhands and volleys and and returns and stuff, but when it comes down to it, it's the little stuff that separates the guys that do well in our top 50 or the guys that win Grand Slams in our top 5, top 10. It's not really that big of a difference level wise. It's just a few mental things and just a little bit of skill variation, but really not much. So it's it's little things that make the difference in tennis for sure.
Well, you've got a tremendous coach next to you, so experienced with the mental side at all levels, especially your pro level. One of the things I hear more and more about is mental health struggles at the pro tour. I see you and Hans as such wonderful guys and such sane, mentally healthy, not just mentally strong, but also mentally healthy humans. Tell us about some methods that you guys use to keep your mental health at peak levels.
Yeah, I would almost argue that's incorrect. I would say anyone that is a peak athlete at any sport is absolutely not mentally sane. If you're playing at an elite level at anything, whether it's a sport or you're a doctor or whatever, profession you're in, I feel like you have to be a little bit crazy to put that much effort into one specific thing. And yeah, I mean, like, it's, there's certain things you can do to try to help and maximize that. But at the end of the day, I think you have to be a bit of a perfectionist. And I think, someone like Novak Djokovic, who's so perfect in every detail of every piece of food he puts in his body, every act he does in fitness and tennis and practice and cone practice. I mean, whatever it is, the guy has it all dialed in, whether it's sleeping in a tent, sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, whatever it is, the guy's really dialed in. And those kind of things, make you a bit on edge at times. But I think that's what it takes. I mean, if you look at any of the greats, I mean, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, whatever it is, like you have to be a little bit on edge to be the best of the best. And, I think mental health is a tough one where it's, you just got to be on edge to be that great and be that perfect at everything. It's not easy by any means.
And I think what I'd say from my coaching lens is, from Sam Querrey days to, Bob and Mike, to Hans and, to Austin now, it's an extreme focus on court, and it's an obsession. It's obsession about making returns, an obsession about, lowering your error count. But off the court, I've never laughed more than with all those players I just mentioned: Sam, Shahar Pierre, Karina Muraru, Tara Snyder, Bob and Mike Bryan, Hans Hawk Verdugo, Austin Krajicek, Andre Begeman, Martin Emmerich. I mean, Andrew Painter, great world-class players, obviously some of the great players and, Grand Slam champions. On the court, ridiculous focus and goals and this and that. But I've never laughed so much. So when I think about my times with all these players, I think about so many funny memories. I think about all the laughs and all the inside jokes, and that makes me very happy as a coach that we were able to achieve that, because I don't think that's an easy balance. And so that shows that we can get there. We can stay extremely focused, but we have such a great connection and relationship that we have fun. We enjoy it. We laugh at ourselves. We laugh at each other. We laugh at different things in the world going on. I think if it's all one or all the other, to laugh too much and it blends together, you maybe don't accomplish your goals. And if it's all too serious, then you may get burnt out and don't accomplish your goals. And I think the great connections in coaching and playing is when you can accomplish the two together for the common purpose of achieving the goal. And I'll remember that. I'll remember the laughs almost as much as holding, the match points and holding trophies. Yeah.
Gosh, great perspective from both of you. My prayer is that advice from both of you trickles down to junior levels and even club player levels, because you really have to find that wonderful balance between enjoying it and being very, very focused. And I loved Austin's line about you got to be on the edge, which is another way of saying, tiny bits of insanity here and there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the obsession.
Hey, and also the word you just mentioned, the 4-letter word you just mentioned, I don't know if you realized it, is edge.
Edge.
Go watch episode 3, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, or 4, of Man in the Arena.
Man in the Arena. Everybody loves this.
It's a guy that might be in the news right now. Kind of a pretty good quarterback named Tom Brady, if y'all have heard of him.
Never heard of him. Who is he?
Go watch Man in the Arena. And I believe it's episode 3.
3 or 4.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's – yep. And it's the one with Vrabel. Mm-hmm. Vrabel, am I saying that right now? He's a coach.
Vrabel, yeah.
Okay. And there's other players in the episode, and even the name of that episode is something with the word what? Edge. And I want everybody to go watch that episode, because you learn from things. You guys are pros. Iron sharpens iron.
Of course. Player
to coach. I listen to him. He listens to me. We sharpen each other, right? As tennis people have gone through a lot of experiences. So we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We got to listen more and take in that information and learn from one another. And as you watch things like that, it's not even tennis, it's football. It's a team sport. But I've learned more from watching that in 4 or 5 episodes than I've learned in the last 5 years. And he talks a lot about the edge. And I want you guys to go listen to that. It's pretty interesting.
We're in, and our listeners are too. Well done there.
I think, isn't he in a band with Bono?
Tom Brady. Oh, The Edge.
The Edge.
One of the finest guitar players ever.
Right. I thought y'all were talking about you, too. I didn't know you were talking about.
Yeah. A lot of these,
I don't like
athletes. You got the Bryan brothers in a band. You got Tennis Sandgren that just released an album. He's in a band. I mean, it's happening everywhere, guys.
Well, it is funny you mentioned Tennis Sandgren because I wanted to pick Austin's brain a little bit about comparing and contrasting places like Cincinnati, places like where you played the Olympics in Japan. Your partner was Tennis Sandgren. Walk us through, maybe you can compare and contrast and walk us through representing the USA and hearing like Advantage USA or First Set USA rather than Krajicek Sandgren.
Yeah. No, I mean, that tennis is honestly one of my best friends from the time we were 10 years old. We've been really good friends for a very long time. He was at my wedding this year. Just a great dude all around. I really can't say enough good things about the guy. But, we played doubles quite a bit over the years and challengers and futures, and we've had each other's back through all the hard times. Obviously, like we mentioned, tennis is very difficult, especially at the early stages when we're playing futures and challengers. And so we've traveled together a ton. We played this last summer in 2021. We played French Open and Wimbledon together, and we had a bunch of tournaments. And we're fortunate enough to both get on the Olympics team last year in Tokyo. And it was really a life-changing experience. It was a mixture of probably some of the best moments of my tennis career and probably some of the worst moments of my tennis career. I've never had some emotional swings like I did there. To be honest, it was great. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was really a good experience playing with such a good friend. And, unfortunately, with COVID and everything going on in Tokyo, they just before the event, about a week before, they changed it from 50% fans to no fans. Which was unfortunate because that arena, actually, they did a ton of work and I think they had 11 or 12 stadium courts, 3 massive ones that were beautiful. And Tokyo is one of my favorite cities every year. We have a tournament there in the fall. We play every year, and I've always played well there. I quartered in singles there one year. That was one of my best tour events when I played singles. And I just love the people there. The fans are great. They're educated. They know about tennis, and they really love the game. So it would have been arguably one of the best locations I can think of for Summer Olympics. But unfortunately there were no fans there, but still it was different having, as opposed to obviously, we have a team environment going when Phil's there at tournaments and your partner and stuff, but it's different 1 and 2 people than having 20 people on your team, and like with Team USA, we had, the trainers and the couple coaches and then all the media people that are with us and all the other players on the team. We were all a super close knit team, and it was one of the places, obviously, with Jessica Pegula as well. We got to know her very, very well. And I think all the guys and girls on the team were just tremendous people. And I thought we bonded really well. So it was different, too, because we didn't stay in the village. But we stayed at a very nice hotel downtown with men's and women's basketball and women's soccer. So I thought the USA did a phenomenal job of making it feel like a very, team community. We had team rooms in our own floor, and all the U.S. teams kind of had like a team bond going on there without being in the village. But it was phenomenal. Tennis and I played 3 or 4 fantastic matches. I thought we really stepped up in big moments and tiebreakers in the third sets and break points. And really, it's different playing. It's kind of cliche to say, but it's different playing with USA on your back than it is normally. And it's one thing that's hard to explain until you do it. So I just I got the fortune to play ATP Cup in 2020, and I thought that was really cool. I haven't played Davis Cup yet. I really hope to represent the U.S. in the future in that. But it was just a really different experience, and I was honored to be there representing the U.S. and tennis. And I played some great stuff, put ourselves in a position, which is all we can ask for. We had, we got to the semis, played some great matches, lost to, arguably the best team in the world this year, Mexic Shapovic. They were playing some great tennis at the time, and they got the gold medal. And then we had a heartbreaker in 3rd and 4th match. It's weird in tennis because you don't necessarily get second chances ever. So to get that, to lose in the semis and then get the second chance 3rd and 4th is kind of a weird rebound match where you come back the next day and you kind of have that second life feel. And, unfortunately to lose that one in a tough match again, that was, it went very quickly from a super spike to just a super dump of emotions. And, but at the same time, I mean, it was just phenomenal to be there and to be part of the team. And, I mean, it's something I'll never forget, being part of Team USA and stuff. And, I hope that I have an opportunity, whether it's in Paris or the next Olympics, just to compete again and be there. I mean, it was really cool to put ourselves in a position to medal. And, I thought we played our best tennis and we left it all out there, no doubt.
Philip has such great experience with the Bryan boys in Davis Cup. That's, of course, a dream for you, Austin, to represent our country in ATP again, ATP Cup, and, of course, Davis Cup. What sorts of advice do you have, Philip, for getting him up to that level? And does it require, of course, an American partner, but is part of the plan different partners or zeroing in on a partner with the goal of getting an American so maybe you can play Davis Cup?
I had the blessing, the fortune to, back in the day, the private coaches were the assistant coaches for Davis Cup. So I was at every Davis Cup tie with the Bryan brothers and got to experience that final in 2004 in Sevilla, Spain, when Nadal made his breakthrough. And Bob Mike played the Saturday match in front of the largest tennis crowd in history, 27,000 people in half of a soccer stadium that I'll never forget. And then the Olympics in Athens. And so as you guys were talking to Austin and he was mentioning his experience, it kind of got my blood boiling and the goosebumps and all the adrenaline going of saying, okay, as he's talking and I'm supposed to be just a listener right now, and I can see you guys listening to him, but the way my mind is working as a coach, I'm like, well, we'll be back there in 3 years, and this time I'm going to be with you, and we're going to get gold. And then the other thing I'm thinking is, you need to be on the Davis Cup team. You're that good. So, that's my goals as a coach for him and for us. My responsibility, my accountability. And I think we'll be there. I know we'll be there with his work ethic and professionalism and his respect for me as a coach. I feel like we'll be there. And, I want him to achieve that. I want to be there. I want to be a part of it with him. And so, the things that we're working on now and kind of fine tuning his game and getting stronger physically, emotionally, tactically, strategically, all these things that count. They're all geared towards him to achieve these type of goals. And so, I want to see him do it. I want to see him get there. I want to see him experience it. I want to see him go for it. And, that's something that's high on our priority list, not only short term, but long term in the next few years. Marty Fish is the captain. I've got a great relationship with Marty. I've talked to him about it. And, he's got to do what's best for the team. I respect Marty 100%. He deserves to be in that role. I love him as a player, competitor, but also as a person, everything he's gone through. I highly respect that guy. I think he's a great captain and wants to do what's best for the team. So we're going to do what we can control and hopefully those align and we can get our opportunity. And this guy's good enough, man. I've been around the best, and not just, hey, I was around the best that year. I was around the best, during that time. No, I was around the best that's ever played the game, ever. And I don't say that bragging wise. I don't say that. I say that because for the Bryan brothers, they're the best sports team in history, not just tennis team, doubles team. I feel like they're the best. And you guys have heard me say that. I can argue Lakers, Golden State, whoever had the record, the Knicks, Celtics, Bill Russell, they're the greatest sports team in history. They were a doubles team and they won. I just said that's my opinion. And with that and with that belief that I have in them came a lot of confidence and a lot of experience. And, they're two of my very best friends to this day. And consultants as well. They want to help my career. They like my guys, Austin, Hans, and these guys, and they love tennis and giving back, as you guys know. And so with that, I think we have a lot in our arsenal to accomplish the goals. So
good stuff. You mentioned greatest sports team of all time. They were a dynasty for 2.5 decades.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Name another team that's done what they've done, encompassing everything. And I'm talking about juniors to college to pros, Olympics, Davis Cup, gold medal, every slam at least twice. I mean, I'm just not sure of another team that's ever done that in any sport. Tom Brady, Patriots, Celtics, or and I respect everybody. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty biased when it comes to those special twin brothers.
Not even the Yankees or the Canadians, I guess.
Even Duke basketball.
It's even Duke basketball, right? Yeah.
Philip, I want to stay with you for a second, or second or third question in this set, and then Craig will have some great questions from the crowd, primarily directed at Austin. But Philly, you mentioned the word tactics and also strategic elements of a doubles match. When Austin mentioned Mate Pavic and Nikola Mektic as number one in the world, they just lost to a team that doesn't play the traditional doubles. They play a bit more like two flashy singles guys who blast, and they don't play the level of volleying that Austin is bringing, or the more traditional or the more flexible, let's use that word, going from defense or banging to moving in. Philip, tell us a little bit about what you see as Austin's style and how that match in the Olympics was lost to Mektic and Pavic, and how a Mektic and a Pavic lose to a Kokkinakis and a Kyrgios. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the tactics and strategies that you see Austin using to good effect in the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, man, when you look at the tour, singles or doubles, you see a lot of different personalities, and you see a lot of different styles of play. Obviously, doubles, it brings it even more because you got 4 players and you got teams and you got a lot of different strategies involved with teamwork and switching and poaching and staying back and lobs and angles and this kind of stuff. And so, what I love about Austin is just the willingness to learn and complete his game. Being a lefty, we're both southpaws, but being a lefty, being a natural volleyer, as he mentioned earlier, somebody that's really, really tough to break, returns very good, comfortable moving in. So we've got a lot to work with. So it's about fine tuning. It's about, building the strategy, building the mindset, and we're getting there. When you come up with a team like those guys at the Olympics, they played together longer. And so, what people don't realize is, you look at somebody like Austin, who a couple weeks ago was, 38 in the world, let's just say, on the live ranking. And you think, oh, okay, well, who's his partner? Well, it's not so easy. You think at 35, at 32, at 38, at 42, you'd have a set partner. You don't. You won't get in Monte Carlo. You won't get in any Wells. And so you're forced to kind of be creative, and that's part of your job. Like Craig Bell at Mint Tree for 20-something years, he doesn't just teach lessons.
25, by the way.
I don't?
Right.
Oh, okay.
25 lessons. And Craig, you know this better than anybody. You wear many different hats, from your members to your boss, to your pros, to your front desk people.
Retail, accounting, so many hats.
Thank you. Okay, so some people just think, Austin needs to go out there. Hans at 98 in the world right now, live ranking, needs to go out there and just execute and follow, farmer's strategy or his strategy or whatever. There's so much more to that. There's who am I going to play with next week? And then, by the way, the cutoff in 2 weeks is another tournament in Del Rey or in Acapulco. Or who am I going to play with there? Oh, by the way, you're in the quarters here, but you can't. You hold on. We can't. Focus on the match, but the deadline is in 3 days for the tournament that's in 2 weeks. We got to get into that tournament in Dallas. Yeah. So a lot of people don't and they're not on the tour or whatever. They don't realize that. So these guys wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats in trying to find a consistent partner that you can get into for the tournaments that you feel like you need to get into and play to achieve your goals, ranking wise, schedule wise, points wise, money wise, etc. So it's very challenging, and then affording a coach and doing all these things. There's a lot of components that goes into it that people may not realize, that it's not just, about Austin going out there and working on his out wide serve and, volleying, down the line, for example. So, my job is to help these guys. It's not just X's and O's. It's, managing their lives, their careers. I want to make it easy for them to just go out and do their thing. And, I think they're doing a really good job of it in today's game with singles guys getting into the doubles tournaments. And, the prize money's gone up. So these tournaments are not easy to get in, Monte Carlo, Indian Wells, the slams. And so, my job is to help get, them gain confidence, to help complete their games and obviously improve but manage the surfaces, the ball, the speed, the where are we going, the schedule's important, the partnerships, how do you complement each other? You're not going to get in with him. We got to switch. Well, who are we going to get into? There's a lot of moving parts to the equation, and it takes a good team to deal with that and not lose your mind in the process.
And not lose your edge either. So good work
That's
doing
right.
that. Yeah. Hey, you mentioned the word goals, and that brings us to a great question Craig has from a prominent tennis fan and Texas A&M alum. That's Rick Eckloff. What is he asking, Craig?
What are Austin's goals for the next 5 years?
Gig 'em.
Other than gig 'em, okay. Or good bull.
I want to see a Texas A&M football national championship. So I want to see.
That's his goal.
But no, tennis-wise, like Phil has mentioned, I think briefly here, we've got some big goals. I mean, I think, I feel like, level-wise, I think I can put myself in a position to be top 10. I really feel like I want to win Grand Slams, and I think skill-wise, I've got the ability to do that. It's just putting yourself there mentally and believing in it and being there. So, those are two big goals for us.
Good.
In the short term, I mean, in this year, we want to make a move at that sooner than later. Like Phil said, there's a lot of moving parts. I honestly wish it was as easy as just hitting good backhand pickup volleys and making a lot of first serves, but it's not. There's a ton of stuff that people don't realize. Obviously, schedule wise, cuts, surfaces, tensions, altitudes. There's just so many different random things that are variables that you have to deal with. I think we're in a great place where we're just kind of putting ourselves in the position to be as successful as we can. And, those are two big goals for us this year. And, we're excited. We have Dallas coming up. I mean, as difficult as it can be, obviously with all the variables you can't control, at the end of the day, you can only control the things that are in front of you. So we've got Dallas coming up and playing with my partner, Hugo Nice, a French guy that's a super talented guy, good buddy of mine for a long time as well. So, we're going to show up in Dallas and look to make a push at the title and play as good as we can. So that's what we can take care of, what's in front of us tomorrow in practice, and just kind of chalking it down into smaller bits and kind of taking it day by day. And then obviously there's several other process goals, which I think are arguably more important as it comes down to smaller things we're working on with my game, whether it's physically, mentally, things like that we focus on daily. And then obviously the longer term, result goals kind of are out there that, you have to put a vision for, but at the end of the day, you focus on the process goals and those ones kind of take care of themselves, but obviously easier said than done. But that's kind of where we stand as of now. Yeah.
Well,
and you guys have both, you guys as both directors of massive clubs, you see a pro that can go out and deal with front desk members. And then they go out and work with little kids, and they go out and work with the TCD team. And oh, by the way, the men program on Saturday or at night. Oh my God, they love the pro. And then, oh, there's an elite junior camp for the top players. Man, unbelievable job. What's the common denominator in that? I've got a good pro in all those areas. So as I saw Austin, and as we worked together, he went out Newport, first tournament together, finals with Vasek. Okay.
That's Pospisil.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the Olympics and gets to the semis with tennis.
Tennis Sangren, right.
That's right. Then I meet him in Cincinnati and he gets to the finals of the Masters with Steve Johnson.
Right.
Are you with me here? There's three partners.
Yeah.
Then the next week we partner up with Ivan Dodig, one of the great doubles players of the generation last, decade or so.
Yeah.
Finals.
Yeah.
There's four. Are you with me? And then a few weeks later, we go to the U.S. Open. He's in the semis of the mix with Jessica Pegula.
5 different partners.
Okay. What's the common denominator? Who was the partner each time?
It's Austin and his skills and his communication.
So now you see why, as you guys have talked to me in Dallas, because we're local pros and best friends, all of us here, and I'm obviously a part of the At the Net podcast, baby. You see why I'm so passionate about this guy right here to my left. I believe in him. He will be top 10. We're going to win a slam, and that's our goals, like he said. And I look at the results and the data behind it, and he's the common denominator.
He's the one, yeah.
So I say that because I'm proud of him, and he deserves it. He's a good man. He's a good professional. He's got a great team around him, great wife, great family, great work ethic. And so you just keep working. That's what Nadal said. And I was so happy to hear his speech. He was so humble in his speech. And if you listen to it, thank you to my team. And it means so much because of the work I put in. If everybody, I just wish you knew how hard I worked towards this. It wasn't, I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but it wasn't, oh man, this is what I thought I would do. And I finally broke the record and all this. It wasn't even here. He backed out of it. And it was almost like, thank you for my team. I didn't even know if I was going to play a month and a half ago or whatever he said. And just the belief that he had that he could still do it and that he thought he might be done. And now he's going to maybe play next year. Like, that's what I love about this guy. And that's what I love about tennis and coaching. And that gives me the passion and the drive to let's keep going, man. Let's go do it. So anyways, sorry I kind of rambled a little bit there.
And Austin, no matter who your partner is, the last time a Krajicek won Wimbledon was 96, and I've got a feeling about you and whoever you're with this next couple of years at Wimbledon, baby.
Yep. Yes, sir. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, that's right. It's you.
Yeah. Aren't you related some way to Richard Krajicek?
Which
small way? How far back?
A distant relative. So, yeah, his grandfather and my grandfather were distant cousins. So it's no Thanksgiving dinner type thing, but it's there somewhere. I wish I could serve like him, but I've got the lefty thing, but he's got the pretty good.
I always loved his serve and his running backhand pass. Krajicek was awesome. I mean, of course, as Wimbledon champs go, we all love Roger and Pete Sampras, but kind of in there for me, maybe,
Richard Krajicek.
Maybe on the second shelf is your cousin Richard there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever spoken to him? Just out of curiosity, have you?
Oh, yeah. No. Okay. When I was younger, he used to send me some autographed hats and some pictures and some care packages stuff when I was kind of the annoying junior that was reaching out to him probably. But he was always super nice to me. And then I actually got to speak with him for the first time in person, really, a couple years ago when I played Rotterdam, his tournament. In Netherlands. Yeah. I played that one, and he was just an amazing guy, like I've always known. But we had a great chat, and unfortunately, the last couple of years I haven't been back over there. Won't play it this year, but hopefully in years to come we'll be able to play that one. And he's such a great dude, and he's doing great things over there. That tournament is fantastic, and
awesome.
Rotterdam's great, Amsterdam's great. So
I really enjoy it.
What
about Michaela Krajicek? Are you related to her as well?
It would be a little bit further because it's his half sister.
It's half. Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be a little bit further. Yeah. But yeah, technically, yeah, we are as well.
Well, I mean, Krajicek and Krajicek would be a hell of a doubles team, almost as good as Krajicek and Desiree Krajicek, right?
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. She gets call out quite a bit from the referee.
World team tennis champion right here.
That's right. You guys won that whole thing over there in Indian Wells a couple months ago.
By the way, with Stevie Johnson, maybe not another partner because Cincinnati, but just another thing right there.
Yet another. Well, we can't wait to see Stevie Johnson and you and all these great names at the Dallas Open in about a week, right? February 6th is qualies. You're in the main draw, of course, so February 7th through 13th, we get to watch you. CB, any other questions before we go to the third set?
Well, I was thinking that maybe Krajicek would be a good partner also.
Barbara Krajicek.
See, we're still playing along this game. This, once you get me started, my mind just starts rolling.
His mind is rolling.
We love our Jessica Pegula, though. She's a world class on and off the court, and obviously they've had success at the Open and. Tough first round at Australia, but she also was playing 3 events and doing unbelievable in singles. So I'm sure it was tough. She was, she gave it her all, but probably worn out because she was doing so awesome. But she's such an unbelievable competitor, and David Witt's a great friend of mine, her coach, and we just respect her so much. We love playing with her and kind of teaming up with her and her team for those Grand Slams. But it's mixed doubles is fun. So
you need to get some Bills tickets.
That's right, Buffalo.
We want to be. Hey, we're waiting for the Super Bowl, and then we're in the suite, baby.
That's it, man.
Also, we have a question from one of our fellow listeners, fellow tennis pro Nick Smith, that Coach Philly knows. How does
Nick.
Our buddy Nickster? How does Austin Field doubles change in the past 5 years?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think. There's obviously a lot of guys that play a bit less traditional. I think the court surfaces for a bit were slowing down quite a bit. But I feel like U.S. Open and Australia, in particular, just thinking of tournaments, have actually sped up their court speed some, which is great. It's kind of nice to see that kind of come back into the game. Australia this year, like I think Phil mentioned in passing earlier, was the courts playing so fast. The outside courts. It's funny at tournaments because everyone obviously, sees what the matches on TV, and a lot of times the stadium courts play totally different than the outside courts. So, that's another whole conversation there. But the tournaments a lot of times are significantly different on the stadium courts as they are on the outside courts. In more ways than one, but a lot of times the court speed is just totally different. So the court speeds on the outside courts in Australia were just lightning fast. It was just serve, first ball. There were no long points at all. And obviously the conditions are a little bit warmer than in the summer. So playing super fast. So I would say in general, there's a few more guys that stay back on some shots and doubles and stuff, but and I think maybe just a bit less traditional doubles guys that really have, really good first volleys and natural volleys, coming off, a return and coming in, or a first volley coming in off of an average serve, stuff like that, or second serves. So I think there's a bit less of that, a bit more returning, a bit more singles guys. Obviously, Kyrgios and Kokkinakis are a fantastic team and just super talented guys. I've got a ton of respect for them. Obviously, they've got some flair and firepower and stuff. Mektic, there were some tough things there with obviously Mektic with COVID. The week before he was in his room for a week and wasn't able to practice. So there's some variables there that maybe a lot of people don't know, but it's a tough thing. I think a lot of the singles guys just play, they're just great tennis players. Yeah. Maybe they don't have the natural double skills, but if you're a good tennis player, that goes a very long way. So I think there's some more of that, and it just creates a little bit of different strategic things to do on your serve, staying back. some switching patterns, being a little bit more aggressive as service partner, stuff that you have to do on slower courts and stuff. But it's nice to see some of the tournaments implementing fast courts again. So, I would like to see Wimbledon do that, but obviously, to be honest, those are some of the slowest courts on tour all year. So, which is kind of a hard to believe, but it's really slower than the French on a cool day. Yeah.
And, I think there's a lot of talk with Kokkinakis and Kyrgios right now, and I'm actually happy for them.
Absolutely.
They're great guys. They are great tennis players. We can't lose sight of that. And, Austin's a couple years removed. Austin was top 100 in the world in singles. if you took him right now and put him in a singles court, he'd find his way. I don't know what his ranking would be, but I'd bet a lot of money on him on being pretty high.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't surprise me. I'm proud of those guys for playing and for competing and having the passion to grow the game. And I'm not disappointed. Oh, they're singles guys. I don't think about it. They're great tennis players.
Of course.
If you put Nadal and Federer, they would have a good chance to win a slam. That's no knock on doubles players. They would, if you put Nadal and Federer against Bob and Mike, I'm going to choose Bob and Mike all day long.
Yeah.
But it'd be an unbelievable match. And so they're great tennis players at the end of the day that have great shot making capability. And whenever you have that, you're dangerous. And so just because you're working more on doubles and all that, it doesn't mean you are going to guarantee to win, just like Austin's doubles. But if I put him on a singles court against a guy that's 90 in the world, I'd put my money on him.
He's right there, yeah.
If he had the right game plan and was ready for it. So, tennis players that are training and they're in the right frame of mind and they're confident, it's scary. They're good players, whether they're singles, doubles, and all that stuff. So I kind of don't look at it like singles versus doubles.
Right.
I mean, Nadal's unbelievable at doubles. Nadal and Federer's unbelievable. I mean, put Djokovic on the court with Austin. They're going to be tough to beat. So I think it's good for the game as long as they're into it and they're playing all the way through the tournament and things like that. So I think it's important for me to bring that up just because it brought a lot of energy to Australia and doubles. And I think that's a good thing for our sport and a lot of personality to it. That's fine. We're all different personalities, but it's no knock on doubles. They're very, very good tennis players that are serving and striking the ball unbelievably well. So whether you serve, volley, stay back, lob, whatever, there's all kinds of ways to win a chess match, to win a football game, to win a tennis doubles match. So I think we all should kind of celebrate them playing a great effort for 2 weeks to partner together and play some very good doubles.
Fantastic, yeah, and like you said, the exposure for the game. CB, what's next?
I just was just thinking.
And that kind of brings me real quick, Craig and Aggie, sorry, but that's what if for everybody listening out there, the Dallas Open coming up next week. That's like, come see it. You'll a lot of the stuff we said on this podcast and what I just said right there. You'll see it up close and personal for those 7, 8, 9 days, whether you go to qualies and all the way through. But you're going to see that right here in your backyard if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at SMU, one of the best college tennis facilities in the country, guys. You guys know this, and Austin knows this. We practice there a lot. Grant Chen and Peter and Eddie, the tournament directors, and just the SMU board and the just the staff they have. John Isner and everybody behind it, Dirk, it's going to be a unbelievable first-class event that we haven't had here in over 30 plus years. Yeah. I promise you won't be disappointed. And I'm not selling this. I'm excited about it. I'm passionate because I'm born in Dallas. I grew up here and I've got 2 players. My players are going to be playing. You need to come watch it if you're listening right now. Singles, doubles, come look, come learn, come enjoy it. It's I promise you it'll be worth it.
So I was thinking about the tournaments and what you all were talking about. My thought went to the outside courts. Are the lines people on the outer courts, or have they got all the courts lined out with the Hawkeye where it's calling out shots? The robot basically is calling the out
with an Australian accent.
With an accent. Ow!
Yeah. Hey, Craig, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Every tournament, kind of depending on the setup and what they have to work with, and to get that, it's extremely expensive.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so. If we're honest with you, I'm not
Dallas. I'm not
sure.
Australia,
right.
They did all of the outside courts were the Hawkeye Live calling.
No line people. No lines people out there. Just other than the kids.
They have all kids.
Wow. Okay.
No line people besides the chair referees. So in Dallas,
not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The first court they probably will have that. on the second.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a bit to get it. It's not as easy maybe as somebody might think. I'll just put a couple cameras. It's
pretty complex. Yeah, I've watched.
And so it wouldn't surprise me if on both courts, guys, there's line judges and all that, which they'll do a great job.
Yeah.
But I like the system. I think it's very accurate, and it just takes a lot of the distraction and uncertainty out of it. But hopefully they get it. Hey, listen, this is something that we've talked to John and Isner and Eddie and Peter and the gang and Grant there, and this is a tournament that's going to be there for a while. And they want it to grow and for the DFW area and be, one of the hottest tournaments on the map, for the year. So if it's something they can do, I know they'll spend the money and do it if they don't have it already. So it's going to be awesome. A lot of great cast, if you will, right now with people that are signed up, singles and doubles, and so you'll get your money's worth. As T.O. says, bring your popcorn.
I was telling Peter Lebedevs, I think Phil Farmer needs to call John Isner's service line. I was saying, I know Phil's got such eagle eyes that he would love to call John Isner's service line.
I don't know if I can see that ball.
Man, I'd hate to do that. That's the one. I mean, I like to call the service line. I've called some lines because service line, you have like half a second to react. And that's and you can watch. Yeah. Then you can watch the rest of the match. But for half a second, you got to be paying attention. I think Isner that would probably not be a lot of fun calling the service line on that dude because you're like, where'd it go?
And for that matter, Austin Krajicek.
Checks, right?
For that matter, Riley Opelka,
yes.
Nick Kyrgios,
right?
Yeah, there's quite a list, like you said.
Right.
There's quite a cast coming to Dallas next week.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really fun. Yeah. I'm really looking forward. We're going to be Monday night. I'm there Monday night for the opening session.
And Tuesday, right?
Monday night, Tuesday. Yeah. I'm darn straight. I'm going to be down there in the hilltop.
And I know you guys are bringing the Dallas crew for Austin and his partner and if when Hans gets in and his partner and Isner and all our Dallas locals. Nate Lamons, you guys come out and support the Dallas guys for sure.
Nate and Caleb Chakravarty, the kid from SMU.
That's right. Absolutely. All the SMU boys and Grant.
I'll be
absolutely.
Wearing red, white, and blue for sure on Tuesday.
Let's go, AK.
There you go.
Let's see, like that,
AK shirts, baby.
We're ready.
That's right.
We're ready.
Or do you have a nickname? Do we have a nickname that we should shout out?
Is it AK?
AK works. Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of live polar, kind of created the AK version, baby, because he's like a weapon, an AK. You know what I mean?
That's right.
a lot of firepower.
A lot of firepower from that lefty.
We'll get a gun and put like AK. We're friends. Yeah, we're gonna figure.
There you go.
That's the best way to get canceled as a podcast.
Oh,
yeah.
Scratch that. We're not doing that. Sorry, we're not.
That's good in Texas.
Yeah, we got almost canceled with USPTA a few years ago. That's another story, but that's kind of sensitive.
Story for another time.
On the come and take it. We had come and take it, so we'll tell you all about that loft line. So they're still mad at us for that all over the U.S., but that's okay.
I won't take credit for the artwork. You won't take credit for publicizing it.
Well, and okaying it, yeah. So that's we got in trouble. But anyway. So it'll be fun to see the Dallas Open, big-time tennis. Not that the RBC wasn't big-time. For 17 years, the RBC was a great event over at T-Bar M, and I think the Dallas Open is going to be one of those events that, it's going to feel like WCT, big-time tennis with the guys that, the Hilltop, like what you're saying, is just an unbelievable venue for, I was really surprised. I was like, whoa, they're going to do all this to...
Craig, I have to correct you. You said unbelievable, and now that Rafa has won 21 slams,
that's unbelievable.
You have to pronounce it unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable, no?
Right. Did you work hard? Rafa, did you work hard?
Well, I always want to work hard, no? I always want to do my best. I want to try to return the lefty serve of Krajicek, no? It's going to be great. Right. And I hope to join you one day, Austin. Looking forward, no?
Maybe awesome. On the court. Maybe you share a court with him, right? Yeah, right.
That's right. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Right. They could be a very convivial team, couldn't they?
They could.
But that's one convivial for
They could.
Yeah, right there. But should we go to third set?
We're doing quick third set.
Yeah, quick
tonight.
third set. Okay.
Quick third set. All right, we're ready. We're ready for the questions.
All right. So I know that Austin, you really liked Japan. Are you turning Japanese?
Well, I don't know. I love Sushi. Tokyo is probably one of my favorite cities on tour. So you never know. I wouldn't say no to that.
You know who the group is. You know what that's a musical reference.
His answer is, I really think so.
Right.
It's the Vapors.
The Vapors. Yeah, there's a song called I Think I'm Turning Japanese by the Vapors. So sorry, we set you up on that one. I already had written that down. I was like, I'll wait till the third set because we always started.
That was actually good. I didn't know that.
That was good, Phil. You didn't even get that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, Phil got it.
Oh, come on.
But we must be nice.
Yes.
Austin was born 8 years after that song was,
that's right. Yeah, so
was a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. It's a funny
You got to
song.
pass on that one.
Right, you did.
Definitely.
Right.
That was a let court. That
Hit the net and kind of
crawled over.
It didn't go over into the service box. It went on. So, but anyway, sorry about that. I just had to. When you said you really like Japan, I was like,
had to do it.
He's turning Japanese.
I love it.
The Vapors. All right, first band you saw in concert, Austin.
I would say Randy Rogers, actually.
Randy Rogers.
Yeah, Texas country.
Interesting.
Most of my concerts have been country related. My most recent concert was Maroon 5, which was
Ooh.
thanks to Phil.
Hey, I believe you guys got a picture of that.
Yes.
We did.
That was arguably one of my favorites. Yeah, but I'm not a huge concert guy, but my first several were definitely small country ones in College Stations.
Well, so then now the question is, we had another from Rick Eckloff. So best Aggie musicians, that would be Lyle Lovett or Robert Earl Keen.
Robert Earl Keen.
Ooh, okay. So you're throwing Lyle Lovett under the bus. So all right.
Well, you made him choose.
Second place.
That was familiarity.
So who's your favorite band? So when you're listening to music, what Austin Krajicek, getting ready to go out, do you play Rocky on the headset?
I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not a huge music guy.
You're not? Okay.
No, but I'm totally mood based. So I mean, I love. It just totally depends on mood you catch me in. I would say most popular genre would be probably country nowadays. I would have definitely not said that before I went to school at A&M, but I would say most listened to is country. But yeah, it depends. It totally depends on my mood.
Not Western, not country, but not Western, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Texas country is more mine. So the smaller band Texas country is my favorite.
George Strait? Are you a George Strait guy?
George Strait, huge George Strait fan. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's a interesting question that we like to always ask everybody. So we always think this talks about your personality. If you're in a band, let's say that you could do something in a band. You might have been in a band. I don't know. What position are you? The lead singer, guitarist, lead guitarist, bassist, drummer, piano player, glockenspiel? I play glockenspiel. I'm a really good glockenspiel player.
I would say I'm probably the tambourine guy.
Yeah,
I actually had my first band experience this year in
Brian Brothers
with the
Really?
And
the tambourine. He was unbelievable. Mike.
I'm not good, but
They said you were great.
But Mike gave me this
You're gonna get an invite back?
in the corner.
You're going to get the invite back. Yeah, okay. Well, is it on YouTube? Are you on YouTube? Are you on YouTube with the Bryan Brothers?
I don't
Yes.
think so. Was that one on?
I don't know if it's on YouTube, but I'll get you guys the video.
Okay.
Hey,
I'd love to see
he
that.
says he has no rhythm, but Bob and Mike disagree. He was unbelievable.
Did they have you in the back of the? Were you in the back of the band and facing the other way, or did
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to go kind of shift off of music just a little bit. First paid job, besides being a tennis pro, did you have like a paper route there in Florida in the Tampa area, or did you work at a clothing store, gas station, pump gas, or do anything like that?
Good question. No. First paid job would be probably, futures. Futures, probably my first paycheck was somewhere between $30 and $40.
Okay. Whew. Big money.
And it stayed that way for several years. Yeah. And that was,
Futures, challenges, baby.
That's how it is at the entry days for the first 10 years or so. And then hopefully it gets a little better, but that's tough.
Yeah. Favorite movie, TV show? Do you watch stuff online? When you're out, down in Australia, or do you watch?
Yeah,
TV?
I mean, I'm usually not a huge show, like binge watching guy, but I would say recently my favorite shows have been Yellowstone's a great one.
Yeah.
Being a Texan now, an adopted Texan, I like anything that has sort of a country western or a western type vibe. So that one, actually, 1883 is phenomenal. Just kind of started that one, and like Phil said, actually the Tom Brady series is really good. I've started watching that as well, which is great. and then, I'm a bigger fan of like documentaries. I mean, obviously, the Jordan series, the Tiger Woods, all of those, the Last Dance, those type of series. I like to try to learn something from obviously the best athletes in the world. There's always something to learn there. So I like more of that side of things, the nonfiction side of things than some of the fantasy stuff. But not too many at the moment, but those are my tops.
Austin, you mentioned documentaries. We understand the Netflix documentary has already started filming on the tennis tours. What's your outlook on that? Is that going to be funny? Is that going to be...
That's awesome. I mean, I don't at the moment know too much about how they're going to position that. I have heard a lot of really positive things about the Formula One series. Yeah. So
Drive to Survive. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't watched that. I've heard so many good things. I need to.
Yeah.
So I probably will pick that up soon. I know even a bunch of the American guys, tennis players Sam and Stevie, didn't know much about Formula One, and they love it now. They're big fans. So I think that did a fantastic job of raising interest in Formula One around the world, especially in the States, where the sport isn't as popular. So I think it's fantastic for tennis. Those guys obviously know what they're doing, and I'm sure they're going to do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to watching it for sure. Maybe I'll be in there occasionally.
I think you're going to be on there, yeah.
Maybe it'll be like Mark Kyle. Yeah. You remember the documentary Mark Kyle?
Remember it well, Journey.
That was a good one.
Jeff Grant. That was
He's been on the podcast.
We've had him on the show twice. Yeah, Mark is.
He's a legend. I love that. I've seen that many times.
I did the Goran Ivanisevic voice, and he not only laughed, he was like, "Dude, you sound
just like him."
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting guy. He always pops off on a couple of every now and then. We love Mark, and he's in Hawaii. So anytime you're in Hawaii, stop by. He's teaching tennis.
He's a good dude.
Good dude. Writer, producer, filmmaker, and pickleball and tennis pro in Hawaii.
Right. Yeah,
that's right.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Not a bad gig. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Which one do you like? Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
I'm not a huge breakfast guy. I typically, don't eat that much breakfast. So I would say I'm lunch, dinner specifically.
Oh, good.
If I'm in Texas, barbecue if I can.
There we go. Now we're talking.
But not tournament weeks, but we try to when we can. Yeah.
Craig, last time we got together to have lunch, it was at Heart 8.
Oh, Heart 8.
Yes, that's not a bad place.
Heart 8.
Colony.
Have you taken Austin over there? Have you shown him the greatness of Heart 8?
That one.
No, but we all, hey, us four.
I want to take Austin to Austin.
Yes, we have another place called Austin's.
The level of food may be even better.
Oh yeah.
Is it in Dallas? Is Austin in Dallas?
It's in Addison.
It's right here.
So we're going to take Austin to Austin's in Addison.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, we'll have to get a picture of that too because it's right. You know where where you go under the airport?
Trinity Mills.
Yeah, right there. It's right there where the old.
All right.
Or Keller Springs.
Keller Springs. Keller Springs. When you go down to the Addison Tunnel, is your head north. It's right there.
That's a plug. That was a shout out to Austin's Barbecue.
Hey, Austin's Barbecue is really good. Actually, and our buddy Blair Descaret with Master Systems, who we didn't mention.
Yeah,
we need a shout out to Blair. He introduced us to Austin's Barbecue because he has, believe it or not, he had this unbelievable beer collection, can collection.
When he was in high school?
I think even further
Before
back.
high school.
Right, yeah. And so he collected beer cans, and they're all behind the bar now because he knows the owners.
His collection survived. And by the way, shout out to Craig Bell, who just did 2 ad reads in 1 minute.
I did. I'm
Austin's
very good
Barbecue and Master Systems.
Don't try this at home. Don't try it. But Austin's Barbecue, we're going to take you over there next whenever you guys are ready. You tell us when you're ready, and we'll introduce you to the greatness of Austin's. So
absolutely.
Speaking of food, all right. So we're going to keep going on this. We're going to play on that theme. We like to always ask about dinner guests, all right? So we want to get in Austin's mind here when thinking about some people, and they can be all the way back to Adam and Eve, anything from history to music to politics, tennis. Who would be some dinner guests? We know Phil would be invited, and obviously AJ and I would be invited to the soiree, as we say in Oklahoma, or maybe hoedown, shindig. It's a soiree, but 4 people or more, maybe, some dinner guests that you would like to have at the maybe the barbecue there with
any
Austin.
era.
Yes, anytime.
Fiction, nonfiction, sports, any realm.
Wow. That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, obviously you 3 would be my first, no doubt.
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah, so
no doubt. I would say Man, I mean, Michael Jordan's always been one of my favorite athletes of all time. I've been fortunate enough to practice some with Andre Agassi a bit in Vegas a few years ago, and I just have a lot of respect for him and his perspective on things. So, I mean, I would to have him in the company of someone like Michael Jordan and other great athletes would be phenomenal. So I would say him. I would say I don't know. That's a great question. Man, I'd have to think about that one. I would probably stay in the athlete realm, but I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know if I've answered it before.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
We had Brett Femright, who just chimed in and said,
He's hilarious.
he goes, Brett Femright would be invited as well. So he's listening.
Oh yeah,
And Brett.
that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah, Brett Femright. Yeah, Brett, you're invited. So why are Nick and I on the default list? Rick Eckloff and Nick Smith. Well, we're just adding more
Nick
people.
and Rick. It's a party.
Nick and Rick. Still on it.
But speaking of the party, Craig's next question is always interesting too.
Yes, that is correct. Let's see. What do you think? What do you think I ought to do with it?
What he will serve, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. What he serves, I figured it'd be barbecue. So if at this soiree or
This
party,
guy can grill. This guy can cook.
You've got
can
Andre.
you?
You've
Yeah.
got Andre and Michael Jordan and
yes.
us.
Yes.
And Brett.
And Nick and Brett Femright. So this is funny. This is going to be fun.
Right.
What are you serving?
What are we serving? Yeah.
Well, like Phil said, I would have to go the steak route. If I'm preparing food, I'm a big fan of a good Wagyu steak. One of my best friends raises some Wagyu cattle in South Texas, so I would say,
and it's amazing.
I'd go Wagyu steak, and then probably a good bourbon, and I've got a sweet potato dish that I do okay. So I would do that. I'd be very nervous, as those guys are probably eating the best things under the sun. So I don't know, but a steak, I feel like I could at least make it comparable for them. But
you don't have to cook it. I mean, we just it could be.
I'll help you cook it. Well,
Really?
Yeah.
Are you a
that's
cook?
Awesome. Yeah,
I didn't know you cooked.
I'm happy to.
Really?
love it.
Didn't know that. I've been standing here for 107 podcasts. I didn't know he could cook. He's never invited me over. Never been down the house. Unfortunately.
Sad.
So that's a pretty good dinner guest. I like Andre. Did you ever mention Andre that Phil Farmer is taller than Wayne Arthurs? Did you ever mention?
He knows that. Yeah.
At that time, I didn't know that story, but Andre has been.
That is the funniest story. I love that story.
I love how stubborn Andre was about making sure Philly got the money.
Right.
And not
that's a good representation of what.
That's how he is.
A good person he's to the point. He's not going to let anything slide under the radar there, and he's a fantastic guy.
And it was not like $100, $200, $10,000.
10 grand that Phil Farmer won off of Andre Agassi
In a bet.
That is so funny.
And wouldn't take it back.
Right.
But, which that's his character. It's him and Steffi and their family. They're just one of a kind. They're just amazing people.
So am I taller than AJ? Maybe we can get Andre.
Now you
you got him. Yeah.
For 10 grand, I might be.
Have an inch. Yeah.
Unless I went to my toes. Right?
Yeah.
That's such a funny story. I love that story. I think that's one of my favorite stories, tennis stories.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, it's a great story, and Andre's such a iconic figure in the tennis world, any world,
right?
Anywhere,
and just his generosity and his just his ability to recognize all kind of people in the world and giving back, kind of like Bob and Mike, which is why I love them so much too. They're so great for tennis, but they're really so great for people all around the world. So. Yeah.
I always when I get around Andre, I want to ask him. I just like, hey, Wayne Arthurs, Phil Farmer, who's taller?
Yeah.
I want to ask him that.
He may deny it because that's a tough loss. It's like a slam, when he loses. He don't want to admit that, but no, who knows?
No, that would be funny because he wouldn't know me from Adam, wouldn't know me for any, and then it'd be funny.
His memory is probably so
good.
I'm
sure it's pretty good on that.
It would sting. He would remember it, and it would sting a little.
What do you like to do in your spare time, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, when I came to Texas, I had never fished or hunted or any of that kind of stuff. So I think I really bought into that side of things. So anytime I get to kind of get outside, I like to golf too. and I actually like to run a lot as of recently. But I would say the hunting and fishing thing has been really a big hobby of mine in my off time. Unfortunately, as much as we travel, we get less and less time to do that. But I always try to make a point to have one 10-day trip a year where we go up to Colorado or something and chase a mule deer. So
do you have a cowboy hat? Do you have a cowboy?
I have one that's a hand-me-down.
Oh.
I have not had one well made.
I think our good buddy and former Bent Tree tennis member, Jeff Ellefson.
Yes.
Followed me and the Bryans down to Australia in 2017. I think he was going to give Austin his hat, his cowboy hat. So we got to check with Jeff on that. Yeah.
What about boots? Do you have a pair of cowboy boots?
I also have hand-me-down boots. No, my wife has a pair of boots, and actually we're going to get her a nicer cowboy hat than mine. But I have hand-me-downs. I haven't bought the boots. When we go hunting, we're not going for looks. We're out there crawling around in the field. So
well, you're in Dallas now. You got.
We're not going honky tonk style, but we're going more out in the woods there. So
Well, if you're going down to the hilltop, you're going to see some people with some boots and a hat. I'll bet.
Yeah.
At the Dallas Open, I bet you there'll be at least 5 people. I'm going to say 5 people over and under the whole week.
1,000. Oh, the whole week. Okay.
The whole week.
Okay.
Not necessarily that Monday night, but I'm going to say 5 people over under that you're going to see maybe in your time down there.
Dressed Western and
cowboy, either a hat or maybe some boots on. Yeah, there. I might have my boots on. So,
there you go.
Yeah, so that's one person right there. I might do that Monday night and Tuesday night. I might wear. I get taller too. I got the heel right there. So.
Love it.
All right. Let's circle back to tennis real quick, all right, and then we'll finish this up for you. All right, indoor tennis or outdoor tennis? What do you like better?
I would say indoor. No wind, no sun. It's great. Yeah, but I would say result-wise in my career, arguably better outdoors. You grew up in Florida and stuff, but as of just enjoyment-wise, I like indoors. No wind, no sun. It's great.
Is that your favorite surface, like indoor carpet, indoor?
I would say, hard court. Growing up in the States, obviously we play on hard court the most. So, I would say my favorite surface is hard court. I really enjoy playing on grass, actually. I think that takes several years to get used to. My first 3-4 years on grass, I didn't necessarily enjoy it that much. But the last few, I've really started to like it. And I think going forward in my career, that would be one of my favorite surfaces and most successful. It's just, a matter of getting used to it. I think the movement on grass is what's so different. But hard court, we play on hard court, a very high majority of the time. Yeah. So that I would have to, say that's my favorite.
I thought you grew up in Florida, being on clay or something. You might be.
Unfortunately, green clay, obviously we do have a ton. We played a ton of juniors on green clay. That has nothing to do with red clay. So, it's really
right.
Yeah. It's almost ridiculous to say it's clay, but, it's, I would say hard court for sure.
What's your most embarrassing moment in tennis? What's your most embarrassing?
That's a good one. There's been a lot. I don't know. That's a good one.
Yeah, I can tell you mine. I know I've had a few.
I don't really have anything stick out from loss perspectives. But I've had some really poor shots.
You haven't tripped and falls.
I've had some losses in juniors that, my mom really got on me about. Actually, we're thinking about today. We're joking with my wife about it. Talking about how tough her mom was around at times in junior tennis. And I remember one specific time in juniors where I lost to a guy I definitely shouldn't have lost to. And my mom, who's extremely passive and super nice, was super upset with me, and that one stuck with me for a very long time. But embarrassing. I would say it was somewhat embarrassing, but as I mentioned earlier, in tennis you lose so much. You have to be comfortable with losing, otherwise you're screwed. So, I think the guys that are most successful on tour, honestly, are the guys that handle losses and failure the best. And are able to rebound week to week and continue to not let that affect them, or the guys that are successful long term. So to turn that, not serious question into serious.
What's your favorite tournament? What's your favorite tournament besides the Dallas Open coming up?
Yeah, Dallas Open's number one. I would say, I mean, historically, Australia has always been my favorite place. I mean, Melbourne is a fantastic city. Obviously, the last couple of years, there's been some differences with just how, COVID's changed things. But I mean, still, Melbourne's a fantastic place. I really think Australian Open is just a players' slam. They do everything to make the players comfortable, and it's just a fantastic place. So that's always up there for me. I really think Vienna is actually one of my favorites. I think I was extremely impressed with that city. Absolutely beautiful place. So, I mean, it's always a tough answer, David. Vienna, Stockholm's a great place.
Yeah.
Newport, Rhode Island, actually probably in the States, I would say that's arguably one of my favorite tournaments. It's such a cool town. Obviously, it's grass in the U.S. and it's Hall of Fame's there. So I really enjoy that one as well.
And Vienna, I bet you like. It's indoor and altitude.
There you go. Yeah, a little bit of altitude, just enough to make the serve kind of spin off the court a little faster as a lefty, and the city itself is beautiful.
Do you like to watch tennis on TV? Are you a fan of the game, or just like, not really?
Not necessarily. I really enjoy watching the greats. I mean, I'm Roger and Rafa Novak. I mean, those guys I have the utmost respect for. It's just incredible what they do. I actually really enjoy watching doubles, to be honest. So, yeah, and I'll watch a good bit of that. Besides that, not so much. No, I watch. I mean, I prefer to watch some other sports. I mean, I watch football tonight, and it's nice. Obviously, you're so entrenched in it every week in, week out that it's nice sometimes to have a little bit of a break and gap from that, and sometimes just have the TV off. So
makes good sense.
For sure.
Do you have any superstitions or rituals? I
would say more routines. I have nothing against superstitions, like Rafa's obviously with his bottles and stuff. I just think those are really refined routines that make things. I think as a tennis player, there's so few things that are in your control. If there's anything that you can make in your control, it's great to do that. So, I mean, everything is so different every week. The court speed's different, the air is different, the altitude's different, the stringer's different, the balls are different, which is absurd, but the balls are different every week, which a lot of people don't realize. So there's so many differences every week. If you can make anything consistent, that's critical to making yourself feel, whether it's what you eat. I mean, I feel like I've had some weird things at Kalamazoo. The year I won Kalamazoo in singles, actually, we had a kind of funny story. We played that's such a long tournament as a junior. It was like 14 days or something, and we ate at the Jimmy John's there. If you've ever been to Kalamazoo, there's Jimmy John's there at the top by Western Michigan, that we ate the same sandwich at the same table at the same time every day for 14 days in a row. Not that if I didn't eat that or didn't do that, I would have lost my match, but we were extremely routined in our actions those couple weeks at the tournament. And I think tennis players just gravitate towards familiarity. Yeah. So it's just keeping a routine. Phil's got an even arguably better story about that. The French Open with the Bryans.
Roland Garros, the Bryans. Yeah, I remember that.
Whether it's, weird or superstitious, or, it's not necessarily like if you didn't eat there, you lose your match the next day, but it's just, hey, why not? Things are working, you're winning. Keep it the same.
Keep it going.
There's no reason to change things, and I think that's more the thing. It's more the routine, more so than like a crazy.
So you step on all the lines. You don't break your mother's back. That kind of thing. You don't.
Yeah, I'll step on the lines. I usually step on the lines.
Yeah, that was funny. I was even watching Rafa. He doesn't step on that Melbourne side either.
Melbourne side.
Yeah, he was really moving around. I was like, wow.
He may play on it, but
he didn't.
Not on the points in session.
Yeah, when he was walking over to sit down, he was. Yeah. You could see his feet just kind of moving, so he didn't step on. I was like, gosh, come on, guy. That's getting locked up a little bit. All right, last three questions. Three questions. Here we go. All right. What sport would you have played if it wasn't tennis? If you wouldn't be tennis, what would sport did you really like growing up?
I played a little bit of basketball when I was younger. My dad played basketball in college.
Oh, wow. Okay. Where at?
I enjoyed basketball, but I was very bad at basketball. So I would say probably the sport that I was decent at. I really enjoyed baseball. Mm-hmm. I know it's not the same, but playing slow pitch softball recently as more of a hobby is very fun. We used to be close with the softball team at A&M, so we'd shag balls for them and kind of be involved in that practice. I actually really enjoyed that atmosphere. So I would say baseball was cool. I like golf too. But I would say, maybe baseball. I don't know. Those guys throw the ball pretty fast.
Where'd your dad play basketball at?
Sport too.
Where'd your dad play basketball?
He played at Capital University, so it's D2 school in Columbus. So he played. He's from a small town in Ohio, in Cedarville. It's kind of near Xenia, and he played basketball there. Played center. He was a 6'2" guy, and he was very good in his small town at a school. And then he got recruited to play at Ohio State a little bit, and went there playing as a center and a 6'2" guy, and kind of had a wake up call with some of those are playing at those big universities. So he went, he wasn't going to switch from center to a guy that dribbled the ball up the court that late in his career. So he went to Capital where he could play and was a very, very good player. But it's just funny how, different those sports can be depending on where you grow up and what kind of, atmosphere you're in as a younger kid. But he played more basketball, not so much tennis as a younger guy.
Were they the Wildcats? By chance, Capital Wildcats? I think they were, weren't they, AJ?
You're amazing.
I don't know. I do not know that. Well, that's the one.
He knows all the mascots.
I'm trying to remember the mascot for that.
That would be, I'm not. I wouldn't bet any money on that, but maybe.
All right, Austin. If you wouldn't be a tennis pro and involved in sports, what would you be doing right now? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough question as well. I mean, I study psychology at A&M. I really like that side of things. I think sports gave me that direction of how important I think that is, and especially in high level athletics, how important sports psychology is. They didn't have an undergrad for that. A&M, so I did the broad major, but so there's a lot of avenues I could go there. But I don't know. I mean, as of right now, I really would find it difficult to be outside of the athletics world. But you never know what life throws you. So as of now, I'm gonna keep trying to hit serves and forehands and see where it goes.
Last question here. Actually, one before I wanted to make a comment real quick because I know Phil knows this gentleman. Unfortunately, I don't know if you know, Bullet Bob Conaway passed away, unfortunately, the other day. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but I know Brad worked with Phil at Stonebridge Ranch for a number of years.
That's his dad, Greg.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Bullet Bob passed away. Yeah. Tennis pro like us, and I just saw that on Facebook the other day, so I thought I would mention that to you. And a shout out to the Conaway family because they were super nice family.
Prayers. Absolutely to them. Yeah, Brad's a good guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But all right, last question here, Austin. If you could wave the magic tennis wand and you were the commissioner of the great game, is there anything that you would make as far as change, or do you like the way it is? It's a broad question. It's open ended. We've had a lot of different answers. It doesn't matter if you want to change it or if you like it the way it is. Then
I think. The tennis is obviously a super. It's a great sport, a lot of history. I think, it would be a risk changing some of the format stuff, but I would love to see. Doubles get some adequate attention compared to the singles being a little bit more equally shown there. I think. Obviously in the States, majority of people that watch play doubles more so than singles. So I think. That it's a great opportunity for tennis to do that there. But I also think, in the format, I think there can be some changes there. I think there's a good bit of time, especially with the way 3 out of 5 sets in Grand Slams. Some of the sets, there's some downtime in sets. Obviously the tiebreakers, 5-all, 4-all, 5-all, 6-all in sets are very exciting. But, the 1-0, 2-1, 1-all games are a bit lagging sometimes, especially in some of the matches where guys are just holding quickly and, if the conditions are a bit tough. So I don't know. I would say I think it's worth a shot trying some shorter formats. I think that 4-game sets they try at next gen is creates more important points. Yeah, buzz, important points, more tiebreakers, quicker. So there's quicker turnaround to important moments. So doing 3 out of 5 of those sets is an interesting idea. I think it's a tricky subject because obviously you're changing the format of the game. Obviously there's so much history there. It's a touchy subject, but I think that would be, I don't know. I think down the road, I think that's a risk maybe worth taking. But
did you like the,
anything else?
Did you like the Mortiglue format? You know, the timed, what was it?
They called it Ultimate Tennis Showdown.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a timed deal, and then, you know, you had some bigger points based on if you were behind and that kind of thing. Did you like that?
I did see a little bit of that. I'm not familiar 100% with exactly the way the format was. But, yeah, I mean, different stuff like that. I mean, obviously, it's tricky when you start to add points, A3 points and money and stuff like that into it. I know that's obviously a lot more complicated than meets the eye. But, I don't see why not trying stuff like that. I mean, World Team Tennis is obviously a fantastic format as well. I really think I like the aspect of having girls and guys on the same team, keeping the doubles super important. Yeah, playing let courts. There's just a lot of different elements there that
makes it more
really make
quick
it
and exciting.
Yeah, and everyone's involved in the music, and I just think that's, I mean, long term, if we can make tennis a more profitable sport through, obviously what they're trying to do with TV rights and ticket sales, kind of leveling that playing field out. I think that's the kind of arena that we're going to have to conquer long term. It's just, I mean, there's obviously a lot of behind the scenes thing that's more difficult than just talking about it out loud. But I think those things are worth trying. Absolutely.
Just last thought on this, because I'm a very traditionalist, and I like Davis Cup the way it used to be.
Sure.
Do you like the new format? I'm not trying to.
Yeah. No. I agree with you that I feel like Davis Cup had the importance and the cool feel because of the home and away ties. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you in that regard. I actually really like the home and away feel of that. I'm not a huge fan of having the final site in one place. Now, if the final site is, I think they're trying to transition to where it's just the final four teams or something like that, or the finals or something. That could make sense. Obviously, like many things, especially in the States, it's all about money at the end of the day. So there's money that's involved there with sponsors and stuff. So, maybe it's more feasible for them to do it that way, to have everything in one site from the quarters on or the semis on. But no, I agree with you. I think personally, I like the home and away feel of Davis Cup, and as in doubles especially as well, we don't get to play 3 out of 5 that often. We get to play it at Wimbledon, and that's it in Davis Cup. So I think obviously the Bryans were, I think maybe the most successful team in Davis Cup in history. So for them to be able to play 3 out of 5 and how important they were for Team USA and stuff, I really think that's a cool part of history they play for the U.S. team. And I think, the new format maybe takes away from that a little bit, but there's a lot of dynamics there, and the calendar is so packed with tournaments and we travel so much as it is. So, I know that a lot of guys complain about the fact that, hey, you play in Emos, Miami, and then we play Australia in an away tie. When we got to fly to Australia, play there, and then we fly back and play Monte Carlo, it makes some complications in the schedule, to say the least, for the guys playing that tie. So, I mean, the kind of the good and the bad there. I don't know what you do in that regard, but I agree with you. I think the traditional format's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. We certainly appreciate your answers. Last addendum.
Thank you, guys.
Rams, Bengals.
Ooh.
Super Bowl pick.
Super Bowl. We're gonna go off the tennis grid now, just real quick. Rams, Bengals.
You have 2 weeks.
At home. Gotta go Rams.
I'm gonna go crazy. I think Bengals win it all.
I do a lot of Burrow is legit.
I think they win it all. I think it's crazy, and I think they win it. And I think Burrow, as our good buddy Oscar says, he's the new Brady. I think they win it all.
You're going to do the Icky Shuffle. You're going to do the Icky Shuffle.
Icky from the 80s and 90s.
There you go.
He gave the trophy to the owner. Yeah.
Oh, today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Icky,
That's awesome.
Icky Woods. Yeah, that's before Austin was born.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
We had such a good time with you. You're thoughtful, intelligent, and entertaining answers. I'm really proud of having you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your time.
Yeah,
good luck this.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the Dallas Open, and thanks for your support. We appreciate you guys.
Definitely see you down there. We're definitely going. I'll see you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all
Let's
those days.
go, AK.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love it. Bye.
So when you start hearing me, say that in the stands, you're going to go, Craig, shut up.
That's Craig. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Give him his medicine. He needs to go home.
Speaking of going home, boys, you get to good night's sleep. Have a great practice tomorrow. if you happen to have a practice near SMU or on those indoors, let me know. I'll come down and watch, take some pics. We'll have a good time this week.
Yep.
Thanks, boys, and have a great night.
Good job.
Guys.
Thanks for your time. We certainly appreciate it. So,
thank you both. Yeah, it was so fun.
That was fun.
What great guests.
Oh, man. Those guys.
Just tremendous guys, yeah.
Right, yeah. It was a lot of fun seeing those guys and just hanging out with them for an hour and 49 minutes, almost an hour 50.
2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, I had more questions, but I pared it down.
We'll get them on
that
another
later.
day.
We'll get them on another time.
We'll get them on another day. Right now, let's do our closing exit music.
With Mr. James Scott Campbell. Thanks for listening to Season 1, Episode 107 of At the Net Podcast. Join us next week as we'll be talking with On-Court, Off-Court, the master, Joe Dennifer, and his daughter, Kalindi.
Kalindi and Joe.
Right. That should be a really interesting show. Because Joe's the president, founder, chief executive, whatever, of On-Court, Off-Court. If you need any type of teaching aids, tennis aids, whatever. He's a very interesting guy. This will be really an interesting conversation.
They're really, whether you're into tennis and pickleball and yoga or not, they are leaders in innovation and fun.
Yes.
Just in the business world, I'm interested in talking to Joe, the founder, and his daughter, the director of marketing.
Right. So that's going to be next Sunday. Also, join us on Wednesday evening around 8 p.m. local time.
That's right.
We get on Instagram and do some stuff, don't we?
Tennis shorts. We get to find out what's in the tennis shorts of Craig Bell.
Not much. Not a lot. And lastly, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and other social media outlets. Let's tell a friend of friends because we like everybody's peeps. That's right. We want them to be net heads like you are.
That's a nice way of saying like, subscribe, share, save, and spread the word about this fun show.
Well, everybody, that's it for tonight. Good night. And that's the tennis news as it seems to us. Good night, everybody, from down.